Labour councillor from Birmingham City Council, and it's Lisa Trickett.
Okay, well, if I'm sharing a room with a bunch of entries, I'd rather be sharing a room with you than the bunch that are meeting down the way. So, where do we start? And I actually think it's worth us starting with language, because many times when we talk about austerity, I think sometimes we fall into the Tories trap of legitimising what is actually acts of aggression against working people and vulnerable people. The Tories in recent years have actually repeated what they did when I was younger and when I was growing up. They dehumanise people, they dehumanise causes, they refer to blame scroungers, blame the immigrants. When I was growing up, it was the single parent. You name it, they find a label, but actually what they fail to recognise is that, as Natalie says, it's their policies and their approach that is hurting and that is actually so unfair and so disproportionate. If you look at my city, we are a city of 1.1 million people. 46% of our city is under the age of 30. 1 in 3 children growing up in this city will grow up in a deprived neighbourhood. 1 in 4 children in this city will experience poverty. Not relative poverty, absolute poverty, where the mum or the dad, the parents, are choosing whether to heat or eat. That is the daily challenge for too many Brummies at this point in time. But the Tories tell us that that's fair, that that's right, that it's fair that the cuts to Birmingham are far greater than the cuts to actually some of the leafy suburbs in the southeast. The Tories in this city tell me you're not transforming those services fast enough. We actually have a process brought in by the Tories, the Sustainable Transformation process, the process that actually identifies how we can bring together social care and health. Their process proves we're £185 million adrift on the needs of older people in this city and what they are paying us. If we add on to that the health bill, we are £500 million adrift. That is not transforming services, that is an absolute gaping hole that is putting people at risk. When we talk, I was asked to speak from the sort of local government perspective, I think what we have to remember is the cumulative impact upon people's lives. I never thought, and I represent a ward that has some of the most affluent people in this city, and it has some of the most deprived. What I see week in week is people coming into my advice bureau where the cumulative impact of the Tory cuts are hitting home. People will actually talk about the increase in rough sleeping in this city. If you cut supporting people, if you stop somebody's benefits, if you legitimise private landlords who seek to throw people out overnight, if you cut and cap housing benefits, and if you take away the drug and alcohol treatment that actually gave people hope, do not be surprised to see people back sleeping on your streets. And that, again, is something this government has to face up to. They have brought back the horror in our cities of people sleeping in doorways with nowhere else to go. When I also look in my area, and again, it's one that particularly can upset and estrange people, they like to say about, again, going back to my younger days, the single mum. I have loads of working mums who are single in my area. I have a working mum who is desperately holding down a job as a classroom assistant. She has a child with autism. The bedroom tax has told her that she can't actually have a room, a calm-down room for that child. She has to move property. The working family tax credit changes mean it actually won't pay her necessarily to carry on moving. The cuts we're having to impose on special educational needs transport means now that equally we have no means of getting her child to school. What are we saying to that working mum who has done everything to meet the child? needs and actually meet what the Tories deal they try to make. We are saying you have no part in our society. It gets worse when we actually start to look and place that mum, that family, in the context of an area with huge overcrowding. In Birmingham, we have 3 times the UK rate of homelessness. We are a diverse population. We're a young population. We have massive overcrowding because we do not simply have the housing stock to meet those needs. There are areas in my ward where we have no housing offer, and because of the madness of academisation, the madness of free schools, we also have no schooling offer. We are actually saying to young people, unless we start to find a way forward, you have no offer and you have no place in our city, and at times we are saying our society. Do not preach to me about cohesion from the Tory party conference this time. They have done more to polarise and make our society unequal than any other government that I have lived through. Natalie referred to hope, and I've only been a councillor 5 years, so I've never known any heady days of actually having money. I've only ever known cuts. One of the things I have lived through and worked through is the experience of working in public services of the efficiencies. You can achieve efficiencies. In Birmingham, we are living with those efficiencies. Capita's use of our IT system. Amy's privatisation and repair of our roads. We have more potholes, we have more backlogs and more problems with our IT system now than ever when it was in local authority control. And I think it, to me, comes back to a basic economics and a basic principle. When we and I am having to balance a budget, and thank you, Uncle Tom, for making the Constitution say I'll be thrown out if I don't. If I have to balance the budget, what I need to start looking at is why do we give money to Capita? Why do we give money to Amy when actually those assets, those resources, our shared labour come together to benefit citizens? And that is why this morning I've been talking with colleagues about how we actually keep the energy value within our city. How the 1.3 billion we spend as a city on energy, we could actually use for the benefit of the people of Birmingham by establishing our own energy company. Not to prop up Tory cuts, but actually to reinvest back in, so that the families who actually have to pay £5 a night to heat a bedroom can actually, again, come out of fuel poverty. So we will be establishing an energy company in Birmingham. Yeah. 25 years ago, we built an incinerator in Birmingham. We gave Veolia a contract. When I met with Veolia when I took over as Cabinet Member of the Waste, the first thing I said to Veolia is, I don't talk to a company that has investments on the West Bank. I do not talk to a company. I have to admit I was a bit scared doing that, but I hadn't been on the corporate training, so I got away with it. The interesting thing was, Birmingham, working with the PFC and others, we actually secured Veolia pulling out because they needed and they wanted those local authority contracts. So disinvestment and boycotting does work. Every day now, I have people telling me how I need to sign another contract. I need to sign another contract for 25 years to build a new waste incinerator, to do different things. I don't know where technology and innovation is going to be in 5 years' time. I know I have a massive pipeline in renewable energy in the city. I know from the experience of when we closed or we had to work through the closure of Longbridge, that in our supply chain, actually those car manufacturing, those service industries, they can transform to a green economy. We will not be giving up our waste asset to the private sector. We will be retaining it and finding a model that works for the benefits of the citizens of this city. And to me, this is the new way forward. Devolution gets talked about, and to me, the experience of devolution to date has been shifting the blame, shifting the cuts, the Tories passing on the responsibility. We do want devolution in Birmingham, we want devolution in this city region. We want the ability to actually apply our assets, our capital, to the benefit of all the citizens in this area, locally, nationally and globally. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much, Lisa.